We're live now.
All right. Okay, will you be doing some introduction or should I just carry on like that?
Okay. So good morning, everybody. This is Andemano. So welcome to today's career day event with Mr. Femi. So sit back and enjoy the live session. So over to you, Mr. Femi.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon from Lagos. My name is Femi Odejide, and I am pleased to be in the midst of every one of you. So this is my first time doing this, and for us to get familiar with ourselves, I set up some icebreakers, and I would like you to drop the answers to these icebreakers in the chat so that I can have an idea where people are dialing in from. So the first one is, what city are you in right now? Did you travel for the holidays? Where are you celebrating it? And if you didn't, where are you also? So please, I'd like to know that. Okay, I guess everybody's on YouTube. Am I right? Because I can't see anything in the chat session here. Oh, I can see. Okay, I am now on YouTube. I can see. Awesome. Warri, Abuja, UK, J-Town, that's Johannesburg, South Korea, Kenya, Abuja. Awesome. Interesting. Okay, next one is, if money wasn't a factor, what skill would you learn? Tell me, I'm reading your replies, please. If money wasn't a factor, like, just forget about it. You are fine no matter what it is. Money isn't a factor. What skill would you learn? Sorry, and Lagos stuck in the because of the rain. Yeah, same here. It's been raining in Lagos back to back for days now. Yeah, so the second question is, pressing phone if it's a skill, product design, really? You people are you are being too serious. I mean, like, chillax. Product design is probably because you want to make money. Coding is because you want to make money. I mean, like, money is not a problem. You have money. Like, as Sakodi would say, money no be problem. What would you learn? Yeah, cinematography, CGI, sleeping, that's not a skill. Horticulture, landscaping, yes, thank you. Journalism, awesome. I'll still learn design. Wow, that's interesting. Gaming, Oshe. Digital art and illustration, nice one. Sword man, being a diplomat, awesome. Photography, electrical engineering, oh, interesting. I will not learn anything. I want to be sleeping. Artificial intelligence, baking, product photography, counseling, family big scale, writing, politician, tourism. Oh, some of you will still go for product design. Interesting. Nail art, makeup artist, screenwriting, agric, movie. Awesome. I'm liking this. you'll be breathing for a living or more. Upgrade culinary skills. Thank you. Man shall not live by bread alone. We have to eat good food. Mechatronics, baby girl, lean for life. Or more. Whatever that interests me at any given point. Yeah, I get that. Probably hacking because I find that sexy. Wow. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are making this easy for me. So for me, the first icebreaker, where am I? I am in Lagos, Nigeria right now. Sorry you can't see me. My camera is faulty, but I'm trying to get them set it up for me so that you people can see my face a bit, so that in case anybody in Lagos we run into each other anywhere, you can easily say hi. Then if money wasn't a factor, what skill would I learn? You probably say I'm selfish, but the skill that I'll learn would be the skill to master any other skill. And the reason being that I find myself to be someone that is interested in solving problems. Whenever I see anything done below what I expect, I want to learn that skill immediately and start solving that problem. And that would bring me into my session for today. So, hello, meet Femi. Yeah, this is Femi, and not the Femi Yoruba demon. This is Femi, a tech pro, a product designer. I am a product designer currently at Kodobe. Kodobe is a gamification company. I had design there. And okay, you guys, can you see my screen, please? Please, if you can see my screen, let me know in the chat session. I'm reading the YouTube replies, so I'll be able to see them. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go on then. So yeah, I am a product designer at, I had product design at Kodobe. Kodobe is a gamification company, and I have been heading design there for almost a year now. Before then, I've worked at different companies ranging from enterprise to B2Bs and B2Cs. And I'll be sharing today basically how I got into product design. So my screen now, you can see Tech Express. And Tech Express is just like a concept I came up when I was coming up with the screen, because I never imagined I would be designing. I never thought I would be designing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I can see the compliments about my tie. I never imagined I'll be designing. So I studied transport management in school. I studied at Lautech, University of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology of Commercial. That was where I studied transport management, and I never imagined at any point that design would be my career growing up. So even though I come from a creative background, my dad used to be a cinematographer. My uncle had a video club. My mom acted in some movies, had cousins doing music and all of that. I still never saw myself designing. And I am like one of those people that you would ask something today, and I'm like, when I was younger, you asked me, what do I want to do? And I tell you this today, you come probably months later and I'm telling you something different. At the point, I wanted to even be a footballer. Another point, I wanted to be a pilot. So how did all of this start? I applied to Lautech to study computer science, but however, I was admitted to study transport management. I didn't like it at first, but I wasn't willing to stay at home. So I took that, comforting myself. And since I had like interest in aviation, I was looking at how I can merge technology with transport management later on in the future. And so I started my course was a 5-year course, 100 level, everyone does the same thing, physics, chemistry, and then 200 level, you move to the faculty level. Then from that, you do your departmental courses later, and then your major. So my own major was actually aviation and not like NURTW, road transport and all of that. But as far back as I can remember, growing up, I saw designs that I got pissed at because I was exposed to quality designs. My parents owned a supermarket. So, when I see brands design and then I'm seeing flyers that are below par, I wasn't just comfortable with them, especially imagine that someone was paid to do that. So that was not really encouraging for me. So then my aunt also had this merchandising business where they customize t-shirts, clocks, and all of that. And when I just sit down and watch them working, put together graphics, bring paints, and then before you know it, we have beautiful looking shirts. That Up National. Thank you, Up Road. I didn't attend Futo, I attended Lautech. Yeah, Lautech Connect, great. So yeah, so while sitting down at my aunt's shop and like seeing them customize shirts, make nice shirts, like things like that started sparking interest in me. I was fascinated by the way they were doing things there, and fast forward into secondary school, my dad bought me my first PC. It was one of those big PCs, back in the days that they usually have that head, and it was like Pentium 4. The entire storage of that PC, most of you wouldn't believe it, is 8 gig. The entire storage, not the RAM, was 8 gig. But I didn't know the difference then. And what was I doing with it? I was just majorly playing game. Not until Facebook now became popular in Nigeria, and then I began to see people sharing codes, designs, memes, and I was like, oh, these things are beautiful. And then I opened Paint. I'm going to share, please, nobody should take screenshots because I'm ashamed of some of these things myself. I opened Microsoft Paint and I did some designs. I did my first design. That was Independence Day for Nigeria. So this was my first design ever. Happy birthday, Niger. Niger at 51. And then it had my full name there. I know a lot of you are going to do better than this right now. So that was done in Microsoft Paint. Microsoft Paint has this small brush, and I used it to trace the map, and I did it. And I was so proud of myself, anyways. And then from there, I had a friend that was very good at design, Daniel Okwayemi. This was his own design. Then he made this cartoon image of himself, and I took that and I ripped it, and this was my version of what I did to his image in the name of practicing. So that was where I started. Then fast forward, I really didn't pick design after that. Fast forward to when I now got into university. I didn't want to depend on my parents anymore for my monthly income, like my monthly expense and all of that. So I was trying to make money by myself back in school. I then stumbled on blogging. I became a blogger, create groups on Facebook, join groups, trying to get traffic so that you can get money from AdSense, creating articles, content writing, social media marketing, research, and all of that. And that was what I was doing then. I didn't really have an interest in design at any point. But in the name of hustling, then I started seeing people talk about, why are you making jest of my design? You see why I do want to share it. But anyways, it's all fair and good. Uh, so in the name of trying to make money and not depend on my folks, then I stumbled on people talking about Fiverr and how they were offering different services on Fiverr and making money off it. And I think one major thing that people were talking about was graphic design. And I was like, I can do this thing because most of my blog images, I made them myself, thumbnails that I needed, for posts, I do design this myself. So I was like, what is in this thing? So by that time, the first PC my dad got for me, that 8 gig PC Pentium 4 had already packed up. So the only thing I had was an Android phone to myself. So I signed up on Fiverr trying to make money. And then I got my first gig. I didn't have a PC. I didn't know I was going to deliver. I got a graphic design gig. I was supposed to deliver a banner for someone's blog, for a lady's blog. I was nervous at first, but then I downloaded PixArt. And so I'd been playing with PixArt before then, use it to color grade my pictures and do some what we'll call Momomo things. Let me see if I can find one of them here. PixArt. Yeah, so these were stuff I was doing on PixArt then. And so when the gig came, I just opened the same PixArt and used it to create the banner. Luckily, the lady was fine with it and she paid me, she gave me good ratings. Yeah, I was trying to be an influencer also. The lady paid me and gave me good ratings. So I think at that point I started picking maybe little interest in design because I'm making money off it, but it wasn't still really like that. Then fast forward to like 200 or 300 level, I got my first laptop. Someone gifted me my first laptop. It was a Lenovo G400 4 gig Core i3, and I was still blogging. In fact, I was deeper into blogging then, becoming a Twitter influencer, getting like over 200 retweets in a day. Then it was a whole lot. On IG also, rolling with social media influencers and all of that. And so I started picking interest in design after that, and that was when I started to research, these designs that I see online that people make, if I want to make them professionally, what do I need? So I found CorelDRAW, I found Photoshop. Internet accessibility wasn't great then. Like, you could get internet, but it was expensive. The best is either you do night sub or you go to a cafe, you buy 1 hour for like 80 naira to 100 naira per hour, you get. And so I do that, and then I download tutorials or just watch them, right? And then I was practicing. So back to our slide. Yeah, so I already started on how the whole journey started. Yeah, so that's how I started. And then I got a hold of Photoshop when I learned that it is like more modern, and I started practicing with Photoshop, like, what can I do with Photoshop? And because I didn't have anybody to guide me then, I started doing things I found fancy, which things like cartooning of images, photo manipulations, like things that really didn't matter for my growth then. And I think you all here are lucky because you have like Zuri that is guiding you. Yeah, MTN 25 naira, you understand. So you people have Zuri here that is guiding you to push you in the right path, like, and that is like a great opportunity that I wish I had then. So I was majoring on things that were not important at all. So let me look for some of the things I was doing. Yeah, this was one of my first design in Photoshop. one of my first design in Photoshop. These were some of my first design, and in as much as they are ugly now, I'll tell you that there are some of the designs that went viral a lot then. Like people began to add me on BBM, I had my BB pin there and people began to add me, reaching out to me. But the thing was, so I started doing all these designs, and the fact that they were going viral, pinging, the fact that they were going viral was enough for me, even though I was not making money from any one of them. I started doing cartoon images for people, doing birthdays for friends of friends. You get, let me look for some of them. Yeah, look at this ugly design. This quote was one of the first things I made. Just look at the typography, look at spacing and everything. And those are some of the first things I did then. Birthday for friends. This was the first cartoon image, or the first best cartoon image I made for myself. That was my logo in the right top there. Yeah, so that was how I started. And then from there, I moved on to telling people that, oh, I need to start charging, because I was seeing people making money off this thing, and I could see the stress that I was going through myself to make some of these things, from data to electricity. I was carrying my laptop all over the campus then, like everybody knew me. It's probably rare for you to see me and not see my bag. And then I started charging. Luckily, I started getting referrals from people also. And some people were referring me to their friends, people outside the school. In school then, guys that were contesting for different political positions were trying to get me to do their campaigns, yearbook, and all of that. And I was getting clients outside school that could even pay more than students. So things were getting a little bit better. By the time things started getting better, I'd never been to Lagos at that point. And I remember doing this design for the Future project owned by Adebola Williams. I was a volunteer on that project then. Yeah, so I think just use any name. Yeah, I think the camera is about to be set up now. Use any name is fine. So yeah, I got the opportunity to be a volunteer on the Future project. I designed these graphics for them then. Then I started posting more designs on IG. The mic muted. Is the camera on? Turn it on. Okay, yeah. So can you the volume? The mic is not muted. Okay, finally, I got the camera set up. Sorry, I've been trying to do this for a while now. Yeah, so I can stop this camera instead. Yeah. So I started posting my designs online, and from here, I'll now get to the points for the things I have written here. So the first thing I have here is that you should start where you are and with what you have. You are probably doing well. You have seen my first couple of designs, and I bet some of you do way better than this right now. And you'd be laughing. But at the same time, some of you are out there comparing yourself to people that have been ahead of you. They have been designing for like the last 5 years, and you are stressing yourself. You are just doing well for the level that you are right now. So please don't beat yourself about it. Just start where you are with what you have. You don't need a $2,000 setup. Your laptop is fine. Like whatever type of laptop you are using is totally fine. Um, you can't do a rad design now, and that is totally fine. Just accept it. You would grow. Rome was not built in a day. You'd eventually grow into that. Like a couple of you, yeah, I guess in the last 2 years, you couldn't even design a button, but look at you now, you're pushing Pixel. So just let time do its thing. With consistency and practice, I believe you would get there. So back to my gist. So for some of you, design might come to you as a passion, and for some people it might be an hobby, while for some of us it might be from the place of, oh, I want to solve a problem. The thing is, no matter the way it's coming to you, it's totally fine. Just accept it and carry on with it. The major thing that should just be your watchword is excellence. Make sure that in whatever you're doing, you have excellence put into it. So yeah, I have practice. You would have to read a lot, like practice a whole lot. I said it earlier that I watch a lot of YouTube videos. In fact, like at the point, get Wi-Fi password from friends in school, and I'll log in, download videos. I'll be in school till like 8 p.m. Mosquito biting me, but I'm there. I was really grinding. So it's either you go out or you go home. We usually say, nah, person will give up, fuck up. So let excellence be your watchword. YouTube is entirely free, so you make use of it. You join webinars, you see webinars, sign up for them. You see spaces on Twitter, you sign up for them. Go out for meetups. Because you're an introvert doesn't mean you shouldn't go out. Please go out for meetups. They are very important in your career growth. Not only that would you learn from it, you don't know, you might just be one person away from your next opportunity, and that one person might be at the meetup, you meet them. So join challenges like 100 days of UI, Web3 challenge. And if you can't find the challenge that suits you, create one for yourself. Just make sure that you are being accountable, and you are consistent, you are being truthful to yourself. Feast on Instagram, Twitter, Behance, Dribble. The truth is, for beginners, like what we are looking for when we are hiring beginners is basically your visual skills, like more of your visual skills than anything. If you have a very strong visual skills, you have a higher chance of getting called for an interview than any other skill. And I believe a lot of people would agree with me, though some people might want to reassure me, but that is just the truth. It's just like, say I see a fine Mercedes parked out, or any one of us sees a fine Mercedes parked outside. You're attracted to the car before you now open it, and you probably find out that the engine is not working. So the beauty of the car is drawn you itself, and now it just forced the same way to your design. If you have beautiful designs in your portfolio, the chances of you getting called for interviews are higher. So feast on Instagram, Twitter, Behance. Copy for personal training, not to post online. You are replicating a work 100% back to back. You're not changing anything, because you just need to understand how that person did it and get it perfectly. And those type of designs, you want to put them out because they are not yours. But based on a couple that you have copied, you should now have an idea of your own, and then you can bat your own original idea. And then if you are learning something, either you are reading a book or you're watching a video, you don't understand, it is totally fine. You'd come back tomorrow to it, come back next week, come back a month. Believe me, as long as you keep practicing, watching tutorials, reading, to start connecting and making sense. There are some things that I had about like 5 years ago, and just recently, like in the last 1 year or 2 years, actually understanding it in depth. It's like in the full knowledge. So Yeah, I understand that you need the 3D software, but you just start where you are. Like, what is the major thing? Like, what is something? I'll take questions at the end. What is what is what do you have right now? What can you do with that? So that is what you should target. If you are waiting for like the $2,000 laptop, you want to do anything, a lot of opportunities will pass you. So that is why that is suggested. So going forward, I already said that the most important thing for you is to deliver excellence in what you do. You might start small, but make sure you're willing to grow and you're ready to put in the work. So before leaving school, I was already known as a designer. My parents were supportive, but still I didn't see myself as a designer. I wasn't sure I wanted to do design as my career. I'd already formed groups online, on Facebook, joined groups, and started meeting people. Aside Fiverr, then I'd already now I was exposed to seeing people earn even more using design. So like seeing people in Lagos, I knew that people are earning like between 70 to 30K. Whereas the truth is that even as far back as then, people were earning more than that, but that's all I could see. And I was okay with it because then dollar was still like maybe 150 to 200 in Naira. And I was lucky to get a number of job offers because people mention me on tweets when somebody is saying they are looking for a graphic designer. And the only thing was when I mentioned that I'm still in school, they tell me, oh, when you're done with school, we can pick up this conversation again. But regardless, I didn't allow that to really get to me. We are all human, so I'll be honest, it got to me a little bit, but I didn't let that stop me. So I kept on designing, posting my work and sharing. And a very important thing is community. A very important thing in your career is community. So before leaving school, I met or looked up online for designers that were in my school that I knew were doing better work than I was doing. And I linked up with them, connected with them, for them to put me across through design and even down to the business of design. I started learning from them. Then fast forward to when I was going to do IT, my parents wanted me to do IT in a company that, after school, you say, oh, I did IT in this company. And oh my, Nigeria. Oh my. Oh my. I was using my external screen for my script earlier, so I don't know how to do it right now. Please, can you help me with the window? Open the window. This one. Open the blinds here. Just lift it up completely. Let lights come in. Check if there's little fall in the. Sorry, guys, they just took lights at my end. I would probably have them power up the gen right now if hopefully I have fuel. Yeah, another day in Nigeria. Make Nigeria not do us, maybe not fall victims of Nigeria. So let's go on. I'll be waiting for them to get back to me about the gen. So fast forward to my IT. My parents wanted me to do IT at a company where, after you are done with school, you are looking for a job and you say, well, I did my IT at this company, and to increase your chances of getting a job. So since I was majoring in aviation under transport, I went to do my IT at the airport then. I grew up in Kwara State. I didn't grow up in Lagos. I grew up in Kwara State, Ilorin to be precise. So I did my IT at the airport there. Well, luckily for me, at the airport, we were put on a schedule. And so some of us come in the morning, we do a couple of hours, and then you close for the day, while some people do afternoon and then some people do night. So mostly I was either in the morning, afternoon, or evening. I was never on night. So at the point in my career, like when design started making some money for me, I had started printing also. So I wasn't just doing graphics design. Yay, Jen is on. I wasn't just doing graphics design. I was already doing printing also. So I'd moved from just offering one service to doing extra stuff. You're in learning. Oh, nice. I'm coming to learning at the end of this month. Yeah, I'll be spending like some days there. I could link up with those of you that are in learning. You can probably get my email, and then we'll organize a meetup. You can just have like a fun time, ask questions, and probably like just do a live design session. So that's just by the way. Since my IT was on schedule, my work at the airport was on schedule. What I just did then was I went to one of the printing guys I knew. Like the guy was more modern compared to the other printers, that makes life difficult for you. And I approached him that I would like to come and work and learn under them, that I would help serve their customers, like customers that needed designs, and then I can learn printing. He was first reluctant, but I was like, no, I'm not coming for you to pay me, because even at the airport, it was not as if I was paid at all. Throughout my IT then at the airport, the only money I made was 500 naira, and it was given to me by someone traveling, just gave it to me as a gift. So I told the guy that no, I didn't want him to pay me, but what I wanted was just to learn from him. So okay, I already mentioned share your work. Yeah, share your work because someone is watching. Consistency is the name of the game. One day you will blow. Yeah, from sharing my works, I became friends with strangers. Strangers were referring me. And then sharing your work also builds your confidence because you're getting nice feedback from people. The truth is it's feeding into you, and without confidence, you are motivated to churn out more work. Then in the case where you now share your work and people are bashing you, take the constructive feedbacks nicely and try as much as possible not to allow anything to get to you. At the end of the day, just see it as a means of growth. And as long as you are making your money from it, it doesn't matter what anybody is saying. Excuse me. Yeah, so seek opportunities. So that's what I did with my IT, me going to the next to the printing press, and I shot my shot. The guy agreed, even though I didn't spend the entirety of my IT there, but then I still learned from it. And by the time I stopped, it was not as if I stopped designing. I still kept learning, watching tutorials. Like I had my laptop then was about 400 gig thereabouts. At least 200 gig space was tutorials that I needed and the ones I needed, like tutorials that I'd probably not watch in about 3-5 years from when I downloaded it. Then I was just downloading any opportunity I found free internet to use. I downloaded and I was just watching tutorials. There was no Netflix then, or at least I didn't know about Netflix. So that was like what I could feed on. And then when I do smart stuff and I share online, getting feedbacks also, as I've said, like that was really getting to me. I think by these times my designs were getting better. So those of you that are laughing now, I hope you can still laugh now. So by that time, I was making designs like this. So it was one of my designs then. This was another design of mine, another design. I was already a big boy. This was me sponsoring myself basically from design, like money that I got from design without seeming looking fresh. Then yeah, this was me, or this is me, either one of the two. So this is design that I made then. I was already having clients that were not students paying, and they were paying at least nice money. Made this then, even though they ripped me off, nobody ever paid me for this. Up to today, I was just following up manager, they pushed me to artist and all of that. I started making designs for fashion fair, beauty shows and all of that. Album cover art. I did this then in a challenge for Solid Star. Look at this design and tell me that in 2022, this is still not banging. So the name of the, I think, album or single he was dropping was Weed. And look at the concept of flipping the ease, So I did this then. I wasn't the winner, but I was one of the top selected guys. My Instagram handle, I'm not active on Instagram. My Instagram handle is itz_JF. You all will see it at the end though. I'd put that up. Yeah, Ilorin guys. Yeah, I promise you once I'm in Ilorin at the end of this month by God's grace, we can link up if you all are interested. That's the last week in July. And then yeah, so this was Solid Stars album. So this is without the mock-up. But yeah, like today I can still fix some things there. It's not as if it's perfect, sure. Yeah, another design for a night show. So started designing for clubs and I was making money, as a student. I did this for Pana Techno. Okay, so Techno was going to release Pana then, and they dropped images and there was a challenge. And this was one of fans' favorites then. Even Ubi Franklin, his record label boss, then we posted it, like it was mad. Lautech people, I am sorry. Yeah, I always want to come back to Lautech. Lautech contributed to my growth, so I'm looking at how I can come back to Lautech, but for now it's not looking feasible. So if you guys can probably just come to Ilorin whatever day we pick, that would be awesome. Yeah, so I did this for Pana then, and a lot of people liked it. And give me more popularity in school. Then another business I started then was, so I'd gotten better with cartoon images. So from this cartoon image, this nonsense, to this was my cartoon image. Now by the time I started Nice Business, this was my cartoon image. They were popping, so people started requesting for it, and I was now making it into shirts. Like they could print their faces on shirts, on phone pouches, on anything they wanted, basically. Laptop stickers. Yeah. So I was basically diversifying my income. Any way I could just impute design and like generate money from design, I was doing that. This was made into a laptop cover. This was a contest. This was for a contest for BlackBerry. When BlackBerry launched BBM stickers, then they had a contest. So I partnered with a friend called Raymond. Some of you might have seen his work on IG. It's called Raymond Art. So we partnered. He did the illustrations on paper, black and white, and then I digitalized it. So this was what we did then. Still didn't win, but one of the top finalists. Logo for my client then. She's still using this logo up to today. This trans in Ibadan. She's a makeup artist. One of the best that I know. Logo for Cracks TV then. Cracks TV wanted to do a logo and they had a contest. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, we'll focus on this session now. I'll come back to the chats later. So yeah, these were some of my work, but basically you all can see difference from when I started to like some later stages. I didn't order them, so they are all like intertwined. You see some good designs, some bad designs, but the thing is growth is very important. And that is what growth does. So I started, apart from just designing digital stuff, I was now making money off physical stuff also, printing banners, billboards, flyers, and all of that. So so let me quickly give it a quick tip about reaching out to people, because when I say community is important and you have to grow, at a certain stage you have to have like role models and mentors. Once you are reaching out to people, it's advisable you should just go straight to the point. Hi, good afternoon, my name is this and I'm reaching out based on this and that. And just drop your entire message, and then whenever they come they can just reply you. I think that's a very effective way than you just say good afternoon and then the person probably sees it in the evening and says good evening, you see the next day and it's just elongated. They might just get tired of the chat, but once you drop everything once and for all, they can easily reply you and the chances of you being ignored will be reduced. So I was finally leaving school, and I knew I wanted to move to Lagos because the industry was saturated in Lagos, like design industry was saturated in Lagos. People were really making money in Lagos. And I was planning that I was going to serve in Lagos. So luckily for me, by the time I'd finished from school, I was back to my parents and I was waiting to be called by school to come and do our clearance for NYSC. Then I see a post by a Facebook friend saying he was offering free trainings for training again. So you see, it falls down on the practice and reading. So I see this training by a Facebook friend, and it says he was doing free training on graphic design, web development, yada yada, and all of that for people for as a courtesy for his birthday. But we're to like send an email and you pick the best people to do that. So I sold myself in the email, wrote a nice email and sent it to him. I was luckily called like some weeks later and he asked if I could come to Lagos. Straight up, I said I could. My entire savings I had then, told my parents about it. They prayed for me, and like 3 to 5 days after that call, I moved to Lagos. And then when I got to Lagos, the things just started getting better. So in my email, one of the things I did in my email was that apart from just writing or why you should pick me, I also attached some of my designs to it, put links to my Instagram. Then my Instagram was still very much active with a lot of designs then. So it could check and see things that I had done. So when I got to Lagos, I got a call from him requesting if I could come to the office where he was working then. And I said, no problem, that I could. So I got to the office, I went with my laptop, and he asked that I should show him more of my work. So I opened my laptop, I showed him. And he said something that I want a lot of you to take away. I've mentioned it a little bit earlier, and I want you guys to really hold on to it. He told me then, this friend's name is Larry Yusuf. He's currently a co-founder at Chowdeck. So he told me then that I was really good for the stage that I was, even though I could get better. That the only difference between me and the guys that I was seeing and envying online that I was alien was the experience that these guys had. The experience in the sense of like the amount of work or the type of work they have been exposed to. You know, some of them have been working with companies that were handling different type of projects for like 3-5 years. And me that I'm just fresh out of school, I am comparing myself to them. Me that I'm just doing banner for clubs, campaign flyer for SUG presidents, you know, things like that. And I'm comparing myself to guys that are working at agencies, working at tech startups already, and it's not even their first year, you know. So he told me that, and I think that made me get better. I stopped beating myself up a little bit. So he said all I needed was just practice, that I needed to practice a lot and get exposed to more projects, and I'll probably be churning out the same type of work. And this is something that you all have to also do. Don't beat yourself up about the fact that you can't design something as good as someone else's own. You have to consider where and when the person started, you know, the resources that they have at their disposal. Some might have money to pay for premium courses, attend physical classes, or even have one-on-one coach. They might have like mad laptop and setups, but don't let that move you. You're at your own stage. This is your own lane. You can see from my own screen here, you have a car and it's just on its own lane, it's moving. So you're on your own lane. Your growth is just tied to you. As long as you yourself, you are looking forward to grow, then that is totally fine. You definitely are going to grow. So after showing him and having that conversation, the next thing I told me was that he was going to get a job for me. I was shocked because I came to Lagos for training. In my mind, I believed I was going to go back after the training. But now somebody is telling me that, oh, he's going to get a job for me. And surprisingly, he did. I was in Lagos in March, and I think by April, I resumed to a new job. He got a job for me where, as a fresh graduate out of school, I was yet to go for NYC. I was earning, I think, around 50 to 55K then. I worked there for like 2 to 3 months. I can't really remember. And just as a graphic designer, that's what I was doing. So majority of my career was majorly focused on graphic design. I started as a graphic designer. And to be fair, that's something that made it easy for me to transition into being a product designer. And that is something I'll suggest to a lot of you also, that know the basics of graphics, elements and principles of design, your typography, understand it, coloring, understand it, understand how to use negative space. Like once you understand all these basic principles, your visuals are going to get better. Trust me, your visuals are going to get better. Even without watching tutorials or picking inspiration from anywhere, your eyes would start recognizing good design once you understand all this concept, and you'll be able to start doing awesome stuff. So how did I now get into product design? So at a point in school, we were on strike, and an organization similar to what you guys have at Zuri, I think it was called Placement NG, came to our school then to have like a crash course, a 1-week crash course for covering different topics. And curiosity just led me there. Let me see what they are doing, because I know at that point, a beginner's graphic design course, I'll probably just learn a few from it. And that was where I got to learn about UI design. There was someone that came there. He's a top fellow now in tech. He came and he just took one session. I think lasted for like an hour and a plus thereabouts. And I was like, oh, so there's something different apart from graphic design. And he got us exposed into what it was, like how it's now the next big thing. And from there, I started picking interest in, oh, what is this UI design? So we finished that one session. Usman Abiola was his name of the guy that took that session. And I started researching more on, oh, what is this UI design? Shortly after, I see linked to HNG somewhere. I can't even remember. I was not even sure what HNG was, but the fact that, oh, they are telling me that it's this tech thing and this UI design that I just learned would be practiced there. So I jumped on it, and luckily in my cohort, I was one of the finalists. So doing HNG, I networked with a lot of people. You know, I've said community is very important. Community networking is very important for you to grow in this tech space. I attended meetups physically, you know, Dribble Lagos, For Loops, GDG, like a whole lot of them. And I made friends. And before I knew it, these friends that I made were exposing me to gigs outside HNG, even when HNG was still going on. And after HNG, they started exposing me to a lot of things. I did quite know design. So that was I got into HNG. So back to Lagos when I was working. By my first job, that's the first job in Lagos, I was already now more familiar with UIUX, because they made me design like some pages for their websites, even though I was doing it in the capacity of a graphic designer, but I was getting more exposed to it. So I worked there for about 2 or 3 months, and then I got a better offer somewhere else to be a visual designer. And my job description then was I'll be doing both graphics and UI. It was fine because like I already started doing that where I was coming from. I worked there for about a month, then I went for NYC camp. So after PPA, for me, what I did was I knew I wasn't interested in doing any random PPA. I wanted to work somewhere where this new skill I am learning, I can now practice more, and especially like in a real scenario where I'm not just doing soft practice anymore, or doing 2K, 5K, 10K job. I'm doing something that's more realistic, that is needed by like the next 1,000, 100,000, 1 million customers. And so I started shooting shots everywhere. I had some savings, so I didn't have a PPA. The only thing I was depending on was my savings and Alawi. Started going for interviews, but once some people hear that I am a core member, they turn me down, and or they give me some ridiculous offer. Like 3-4 months after leaving camp, I say I'd not gotten a job, and my savings was almost finishing up because I wanted to get to every interview looking good. I didn't want to sweat, so I'll take Uber. Then I was living fine. I wish I was smarter to know to have saved my money then. Eventually, I lowered my standard. So I wrote here and seeking opportunities that shoot shots. Don't let the nose get to you. So I was getting nose, but I didn't let them get to me. I kept shooting shots. And then finally, maybe be realistic. Be realistic about the role that I'm shooting for. Am I really capable of it? Even if they say, oh, let us give this person the chance to learn on the job, can I catch up in like 3 months? Somebody just starting in like 1, 2, 3 months, and they see senior role offer on LinkedIn and they say they want to apply to it. You are not being realistic with yourself. Or being realistic might also come to the place of the amount you're asking for. Do you think they can really provide for that? Or do you think you yourself, you already have the skills to earn that amount? So maybe be realistic when you're seeking opportunities. That would reduce the numbers of no's that you get. So while still shooting shots, I remember when I was in camp for Said, there was this organization that came called University, and the founder talked about things that they do at university then. And afterwards, I went to him and told him, oh, that I'm a designer, and my phone was with me. I showed him things that I had done in the past, and it was like nice that once I'm out of camp that we can link up. Then he introduced me to someone who is my friend today. Some of you might know him, Shy One, the co-founder at Spire. That's Chooks, the co-founder at Spire. He introduced me to Chooks. Chooks and myself got along while we were in camp. Chooks was teaching UIUX during Said, and I'll just be at the back of the class, just listening. And then 3-4 months later, when I didn't get a job, I just picked my phone and called the university person. That's Mr. Joseph, that's his name. I'm like, oh, I introduced myself again. That can you remember who I am? He said, yes. I saved my name that day. And he told me to come over to his office whenever I'm free. So I went to his office. He told me, oh, I came like at the right time because he's trying to set up a new company that would be like a design and development agency. And definitely they'll need designers on the team, developers on the team. So they just started recruiting. And so, okay, I was to hang around that I'll get my offer once the team is set finally. But like 2 months later, 3 months later, we had difficulties setting up the team, we didn't have enough of talent as required then. So it was taking like forever. So, and I was almost out of my savings. And then, so network, one of my friends, so back to networking again, one of my friends that I kept from camp, I kept in touch with him and I kept telling him how things were going. And whenever I see this job openings offer that has to do with designers, he'll just send it to me. So he sends one to me and I reluctantly applied to that. And that was like the beginning of my career. He sent the one for EdVest to me. EdVest is an education technology company. Education technology company. And that was what started. So the CEO of the company called me then. They were incubating at CC Hub. I went to meet him at CC Hub. We talked, got to know that, oh, EdVest also started from Ilorin and it was more like Ilorin Connect. So that's even made my interview a little bit easier. And then he also found that I had this energy and zeal to, even though I just started UI design, I didn't have like the best of designs then. He saw that I had like the package that I wanted for at least that role. And that's why I got hired as a core member. Um, I started, and in like 6 months later, I was in charge of now recruiting core members, recruiting new members to the team, conducting interviews. In fact, at that point, I was ashamed of myself because I would be conducting interviews or telling people no, or people that finished school way ahead of me and all of that, people way older than me. But basically, I was just in charge of the technology team then. And that's coming from a place of me trying to pursue excellence. Yeah, so I was the founding designer at Edverse, did a lot of features, designed new apps end to end. And after doing almost a year then, the person that got me my first job in Lagos calls that, Alpha, what have you been up to? So that is back to networking again. I was keeping in touch with him when he was doing his wedding. I was new in Lagos. I didn't know anywhere. I traveled all the way to Songwater. In fact, it was on a bike. I traveled down to Songwater. I picked a bike from Oshodi down to Songwater, and I went for his wedding. So basically, that's networking. And then he called me that, what am I up to? Am I ready to leave my company? So about leaving company, let me go to my next slide. So I am saying it is a marathon. It's a marathon because, so let's assume you now have your job. It is in the end. You mustn't settle. They can always bring somebody to replace you, somebody better than you. And even if the company is comfortable with you, how do you want to scale up? How do you want to earn more? Because there would be like a salary cap and you want to earn more, probably because of inflation or whatever it is. And imagine you're now going to other companies to interview and your skill is below par, like you can't deliver what they want. So it doesn't end there. Now you have your job, you have gotten your job. Don't think this is the end. You have to go back to everything right from step one, right from starting with where you are. So with what you have now at your new job, what do I have? What are the resources I can use to leverage for my next growth? Then to practicing, reading and working again and again, like all of this process, you have to follow it up again, even though now you already have like what you have been seeking. Keep sharing your work, share your work, like no stopping. And that's probably one mistake I made. I stopped posting at the point online. So building my portfolio now became difficult for me, like keeping track of my work. So please don't be like me, share your work online, get exposed. Especially these days that now people from the West are picking notes of people in Africa. Like you don't know when it's going to be your turn. So please share your work out there. Don't keep your work to yourself. So it's a marathon. It doesn't end there. You'd start from the beginning again. Like you stay hungry, basically. Stay curious. Keep doing everything that you were doing to get to that stage. Get out of your comfort zone. So when my friend called me that, what am I doing? Am I ready to leave my company? I knew I'd gotten a little bit comfortable because I was early in my career. This is like 1 year, almost 1 year working as a UI designer fully, like not doing graphics anymore. So I was young in my career and you are making me team lead. And so I had used up all the knowledge I had gained. I didn't see myself going past that. So I knew it was time for me to move to a company where I have a team lead that is more experienced than I am, that I can learn from, a bigger team where I can learn how to work with team and collaboration. So I could have decided to just be in my comfort zone where I am team lead of nobody sends me, earning my money and just going on. But I just knew it was time to move. And so please don't always get comfortable. Even though you might remain at the same company, I'm not saying you should be switching jobs. Just make sure that you are learning and earning. You are not just only earning, you are no more learning anything. You are just being stagnant. Make sure you're out of your comfort zone. So my friend calls me and I tell him, yeah, I'm ready to move. And then from there, I moved to a company that were they were formerly heavily focused on just enterprise softwares, and they were about to start B2B, the SaaS aspect, and then B2C, that's business to customer and then business to business. So they were expanding their team. And so because I'd worked at a SaaS company, the education technology company was a SaaS company, I had that leverage, presented my portfolio to them. So at this point, this was like 2018. Let me share my portfolio as at this time. This was 2018 portfolio. I think I have it here. I downloaded it to share with you guys. So because of for growth now, you see what I've done. So this was my CV. In fact, the owner of the company told me that it was because of my CV and my portfolio was one of the reasons why I had me. He had never seen something like this before. So he said that was one of the reasons why I had me. So this was my portfolio then. From that first page, I went to CV, like a brief about myself, my core skills, work experience, and all of that. And then I grouped them into categories, like logo that I'd done. So this was done during HNG. This was done during HNG. This was done outside HNG, but through HNG connection. So networking is very important. I can't overemphasize this. This also was given to me. These two at the bottom were given to me based on people that I met during HNG. I was referred through them. This one at the top left, it was on Twitter. Just by sharing my work, people reached out to me and I was paid to do that. So I did quite a number of things, either through connections or referral or me putting myself out there. Then from logos, I put digital designs that I've done for social media at the first company that I worked then. So you see my cartoon has gotten better, my graphics has gotten better. Then flyers also. See this better rise, then I did it for some university students and like they won an award for it. It was like the best design they did. So yeah, banner, social media ads, and okay, let me go to the UI. So this was my UI then. So these were like the first or the best set of UI that I had then. I included them in my portfolio and then I sent it out to them. So the CEO of the company, this is a very old complaint. This is a very old, sorry. I said I won't read the chat, but let me just quickly respond to this. This is a very old portfolio. This was as far back as 2018. Yeah, you might still be able to learn from it. So probably I would share it. I would drop it with my slides. But if you research online, you would be able to find even better things that you can do these days. And okay, so quick one also for portfolios is you necessarily don't have to create a website if you don't have the resources to create one, either the funds or developers to collaborate with. Behance portfolio has like cheap Behance has like a portfolio feature which is cheap. I think they charge about $10 per month. And if you can't afford that, you can just do nice case studies on Behance itself. Dribble also has something similar. Dribble now has case study feature. You can now use that case study feature to create your case study and you can send that out as your link to your portfolio. So just start with what you have. Like some of the things I've mentioned earlier, just keep repeating themselves. You start with what you have. Don't wait until, oh, I can afford to build a website before I do my portfolio. What do I have at my disposal right now? Is it Notion that you can use to create a portfolio? Use that. So yeah, I got hired at this new SaaS company. I got there. So that is like my second or 20, I resumed there, I think 2018, 2019. I can't remember, but that would probably make it like 2 or 3 years into UI/UX design, but like I had previous graphic design experience, so at least that was giving me some edge when it comes to visual. So getting there first, I started as a junior designer, just doing features inside, small features inside main apps that they had or that they were building then. And by the time I left there, I was already owning full products myself. Like they'll bring a full brief or just even like story without requirements and all of that. I would have my team of product managers, developers, and we're shipping full products, shipping major features inside old ones and all of that. And then right now, I left that place. Now I am at Kodobe, as I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, where I'm adding design. So that has like been my career journey. I think, yeah, I've come to the end of my talk. I don't know if I missed anything out. I'll be glad to answer questions. Yeah, so that's my journey so far. I currently add design at Kodobe. Kodobe also came through referral. So you see, networking is very important. And they didn't even conduct an interview for me. The referral came through a friend. I did a side project for them, and from there, months later, they start calling me that guy. It's like, we would want you to come in full time because we have raised some funds, we are building the team and all of that. Negotiated salary, and that's where I am so far. It's by August, September-ish, to be a year at Kodobe. Yeah, just doing amazing stuff. And it gets better by the day. I'm still learning. Like earlier this year, I signed up for Dribble's product design course. I took the course, I learned myself. Some of you might notice I'm using XD. I'm using XD because I find prototyping very easy then. And because coming from being a graphic designer, I've always been a fanboy. So I find the entire Adobe suite easy to use, like moving stuff from Illustrator to XD is easy, or Photoshop, After Effects, and all of that is easy. So these days, because I am hungry and because some projects are demanding it, I am learning how to use Figma as much as I can use XD. Like I want to be able to use Figma to do stuff like this in my presentation, not just design alone and just move. Like, don't let anybody hear this, but the truth is, I just learned this week how to properly do components, auto layouts, and all of those other stressful stuff in Figma this week. So like there's nothing to be ashamed of. Just as long as you are willing to learn and grow. Believe me, like you have a lot ahead of you. And why I'm using yellow here is because that is where I am at the moment. It's not the end. I would have probably used red as top, but it is just intermission. We still have a lot to go. Probably spending more years with Kodobe or somewhere else. I don't know, like a whole lot. So that has been my journey. I think at this point we take questions. If anybody wants to connect with me, if anybody wants to connect with me, these are my handles. LinkedIn, my name is Femi Odejide on LinkedIn. Every social media platform, you can just search ITZ_JF. Like, I might not have listed anything here, like TikTok is not here, but once you just search ITZ_JF, anywhere you want to follow me, I use like the same handle everywhere. Then Dribble, Behance, Femi Odejide, Facebook, Femi Odejide, like almost everything. So that's my handle. I don't know if Andy is here to start taking questions, or Andy's not here. So please, yeah. So at this point, I'll start taking questions. I'm open to questions in case I missed anything. Because I had like a whole script here. I believe I jumped some things there because of time, or any other question that you guys want me to answer, either regarding career. You can drop it in the chat session. I'm going through them and I'll be answering everything as much as I can. The most recent one that I can see, my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, that's it. Femi Odejide. Just search Femi Odejide, and you see on LinkedIn, almost the same picture as as I have here. So and I'll accept your connections. Um yeah. Please, people using XD, did you buy it or yeah, isn't for me, my own XD is paid for. My own XD is paid. I pay for my XD. We learn every day. I know the shame at all. Yeah, we learn every day, and that's the way you can grow. Reaching out to me concerning meetup. My email address. Let me just drop my email address in the chat session. Um, okay, I'll just run it. Let me run from the old comments and messages and then come to the bottom. No, I didn't attend Futo. I attended Lautech. Um, yeah, I designed that map with Microsoft Paint. Um, the banner that I first did on Fiverr, then sadly I don't have it anymore. In fact, I deleted that account. Um, yeah, Zuri for president. Zuri is doing a lot of things. I was told about the numbers of people in this court, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive. Imparting and talking to people just starting their career is one thing I like to do, and seeing an organization doing that makes me happy. Yeah, growth is very important. I can't overemphasize that. You guys will be getting my slides and the portfolio as you have requested. Please don't rip the work and call it yours. It is not fair to me and it's not fair to yourself because they will test you, and if you can't deliver, you are doing yourself. Uh, my Instagram handle, yeah, it's on the screen already. Yeah, I've been a little bit long in this game. In fact, when I was preparing this talk, somebody dropped a comment on LinkedIn, someone that has known me for a while, about how he met me 6 years ago. And I was so like curious learner then. And he was proud of how far I've come. So yeah, I've been in it for a minute. So if you guys can't do like the level of design I'm doing now, that's what I'm saying. It is fine. Like don't beat yourself. Just start from where you are, and as long as you're ready to grow, you get there one day surely. Um as UI UX designers, are we supposed to go learn graphics design too, or should we focus on developing our UI UX skill? Yeah, so focus on your UI UX skill. I'm not expecting to learn graphic design. If you want to learn it, it should be a choice of yours. But what I'm saying is the elements, the principles of design, that's the fundamentals. Go back to your fundamentals. You can't skip your fundamentals because these fundamentals work across all board. They work for graphic design, they work for UI UX design. Sometimes they work even down into 3D design. Recently, I started learning motion design, and I can see it also coming into motion design. So focus on your UI UX if that is what you know you want to do. You don't want to add graphics as an add-on, because the only benefit is that, oh, if you have anybody requesting it for graphic service, you can provide. And if you have anybody providing asking for UI UX, you can provide. So it's like just an added skill, but you can choose to just focus. Some people prefer to just focus, niche down and focus on one thing. So just make sure that you're learning the fundamental. That's the thing, the major thing. Yeah, just enjoy your process. Thank you, Deborah. Is there a book with all these? Yes, it is a slide. You people get a PDF slide. Maybe I can share the XD link also, so that for those that want to see how I did the prototype, you can dig down into the design and use that to learn how I did the prototypes. But for the PDFs, you won't be able to see all these interactions. It'll just be still images. Uh, You love the way my slides are designed. How can you achieve this? Practice and practice, practice. But let me just sum it up. I did this with prototyping in XD, a lot of micro interactions, and then using some Lottie files. So Lottie are already animated smaller design elements in After Effects, then they are made into Lottie files that you can then reuse anywhere. Lottie is also available in Figma, so just don't think it's just for XD. And I believe some people were able to replicate this also in XD in Figma. I mean, but as I've said earlier, I just started learning Figma to be able to do nice stuff like this. Those of you that added me already on LinkedIn, my last post was totally designed in Figma. So I know how to use Figma, but like to do complex stuff, I'm just learning how to do that. And I believe, not bragging, but I know I'm putting in the work to learn it. In like 1 or 2 months, I'll catch up with the same efficiency that I have with XD. What is negative space? So negative space is the space between your elements. So that's like the space between my tests here and the icons below. So let me show you a design where I didn't use negative space and what it looks like. One of my old nonsense designs. So here is it. So see how everything is jam-packed here. The entire text is just jam-packed. The borders, we basically almost don't have space there. The line height is not great. This one also, like everything is just like squeezed up versus just this one that is just text and icon. See the space, is making it look beautiful. So it can be space between elements and space around your artboard also. So is there space between objects in your design layout? Quick example, the space between seek opportunities and where shoot your shot starts from. Okay, somebody's explaining. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's it. Imagine how his design will look like if yeah, exactly. Thank you. So yeah, so these are the fundamentals I'm saying you should read up on. Sharing for me is a bit hard because I always rate my work below average, and I think who would want to see below average design in the century? So another thing I'm currently doing is last month I started experimenting, and that was how Zero reached out to me, is people in boot camps that are currently in boot camps or that just left boot camps. I have monthly sessions where you can book a calendar invite. It is free. You book a session and then I review your design, I give you feedbacks, make some edits if necessary. So that is usually communicated on Twitter for now. For now, I haven't released the dates for this year. So if you want to probably know about that, you would probably have to follow me on Twitter so that you can know when that is released. So if you feel ashamed, just find people that you can trust to give you good feedback. Find a close mentor, and ways that you can find mentors is you start communicating with them. They post stuff on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You are interacting with them. In like a couple of months' time, they already know your name. So by the time you're sliding into their DM to ask for feedback, you are not a total stranger. You have the tendency to, or higher chance to be answered to than somebody that they don't know from Adam. You get. So look at people that you think you want them to be your mentor and just start engaging with them randomly. You don't have to slide into their DM straight up. Like their tweets, drop meaningful comments when they tweet meaningful things, you get, and all of that. And yeah, you can do peer reviews also. If you know you have friends that are better than you can share with them. But please, actually, to be honest, it is important for you to put yourself out there. Like, you shouldn't hide yourself in this day and time. Yeah, you can send to a friend to build your confidence. Somebody said that. Thank you. Beautiful logos. Thank you. Sadly, I don't know if I can really design good logos anymore because it's been long I really did graphic design. Can I share my portfolio? All right, sir. I would share it with you guys. My recent portfolio, I'm currently working on that. So there's nothing to share for recent portfolio. I can just share recent project, not recent portfolio. I use free WordPress plan. So I have WordPress Yeah, WordPress is fine. WordPress is fine. Just whatever you have, use it as long as it gives you the results. It's just like saying someone asking now, why are you using Google Meet instead of Zoom or Teams? The essence or the goal we are trying to achieve is to have a video call. As long as can have a video call, that solves it. So whatever you can use to present as your portfolio, use it. But for UI design, product design generally, I would advise that you should avoid PDFs if you can. So try to digitalize it more. So I've mentioned some options that I know. Behance, the normal Behance, then there's Behance Portfolio. We have Dribble, then there's Playbook inside Dribble. That is if you are paying for Dribble. Behance Portfolio also is paid for, but Behance is free. Dribble is also free if you have the case study feature. I have the case study feature on Dribble. So if you check my Dribble, you see I have like one case study there. Then WordPress, free WordPress, you can use that. Squarespace, Wix, Elementor, Webflow, anything you can use. If you can pay somebody to add code it from scratch, you can also do that. What did you use to do these logos? They are nice. Is it Figma or be Photoshop? I used a mix of, for some of them would be Photoshop, somewhere Illustrator. So at the beginning of my career, I started designing logos in Photoshop, but by the time I started learning that Photoshop is not meant for that, I switched to Adobe Illustrator. This has been my problem portfolio website. Thanks, I can do without website now. Yeah, you can totally do without website. I don't have a website. If you enter Femi Odejide anywhere, .com anywhere, you wouldn't find one at the moment. So nice talk. There are recommendations as what people out there would say. What did you use to create this your CV? I use Illustrator then to create my CV, Adobe Illustrator, and Illustrator is very similar to Figma and XD. So you can use it to do this. You can use Figma and XD to make the same thing. And then the good thing with Figma and XD these days, so yeah, I forgot to mention that as options for your portfolio is that you can use them to create your portfolio because you can share links. So you design like a website in Figma that's basically your portfolio. And then if they click on something on the landing page, it's taking them into another page that you have designed, that you have linked, prototype. I hope you people get that wisdom. So I have a friend that not until recently, is just developing his website in Webflow. It has been XD link he has been sharing. So that's little wisdom also. So you can just use Figma and XD for your link. The only thing is that whoever you're sending, you'd just put a small note that please do open on desktop because except you design mobile. If you design mobile, you tell them please open on better viewed on mobile. Can we see more of your UI projects? Sadly, I didn't bring any into this presentation. The only ones you probably see online would be the one on my Dribble, which I just started using like 2 months ago. So you find just two works on Dribble. Other stuff that I have are on the website of different companies I did. And unfortunately, most of them are SaaS. So like software as a service, you pay to have access to them. So you can't see it, except I have a different sessions where I open up the source file and I show you guys. God, when you get there eventually, trust me, that was what I was saying when I started. And even right now, I'm still saying it because I'm seeing some things I can't do and I'm wondering how will I get there. But it's practice, like and your health is important, please. In as much as you are practicing and having late nights, please take your health serious. Yes, I'm still learning, to be honest. I'm still learning. I'm taking motion class right now. I'm taking Figma class. I'm even taking product design, like making better UIs. Yeah. You're bad at networking. You learn. I am an ambivert myself, like mix of introvert and extrovert. So sometimes I am leaned to my introvert side, but I just find a way to network. One way I do it at times is I find it easier to relate with people online. So once we make a connection online, then once there's a physical meetup and I confirm that they are there, since we have already bonded online, it makes the conversation easy offline. So that's another scope you can use if you are not really good. But summon the courage to start approaching people physically, like live online, just summon the courage to start reaching out to people. which of the company names? Consistency. Thank you. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Thank you. Very inspiring. So at this age, do you advise us to focus more on looking out for jobs or more into building our portfolio? I don't know what stage you are in. You are in God's will. I want to believe not every one of you in this program will be at the same stage. Some people already have work they can show. So like when I was in HNG, I had stuff that I could present to get me a full-time role. So I want to assume that you have colleagues like that in Zurich. So you yourself would be the best person to assess the level that you are. So once you think like you have 2-3 nice things that you have done, you can start shooting. That is if it is for product design. For graphic design, you might need a little bit more than that. Please, people using XD. Okay, I already answered that. My LinkedIn profile is on the screen. Man, a lot of questions. I'd answer everything, I promise. We learn every day. I know they are ashamed. Yeah, don't be ashamed, please. And I'm trying to build in public these days. So even when I have trash designs, I'm putting it in public, no matter what people say. I take the constructive feedback and I use that to improve. So apart from that, I send it to my friends to review for me before even I now make final edits before now moving it to public. How do we reach out to you concerning the meetup? Or you can reach out to me through your coordinator or through any of my social media platforms. Somebody should just spearhead that. So if somebody can just get the information from me and pass it across to everybody, so that we won't have like different people booking multiple times. I look forward to meeting you guys in Lorry. Compelling a portfolio, do you include your various skills? For example, I worked with a photography firm as a photographer who wanted to take advantage of my design skills without commensurate fee. So it depends on where you're applying to, and depends on people. Some people wouldn't. Some people would just focus on. So say I'm applying for a product design role. It's just with product design stuff. And some companies will tell you that they're hiring just mobile product designers. So some people make it just mobile alone. So, but if the company is probably requesting for more, all those long JDs out, yeah, you can go ahead with it. In fact, it might give an edge over other people, especially if it's a startup. Like a new startup would want someone to be able to take their picture so that they can have social media preference. So imagine you putting that in your portfolio with good designs that you have. You most likely have an edge over somebody just doing design. At what level do you know you can start applying for jobs? I have said this earlier. It is you assess yourself individually, but regardless, also another thing I'll say is even when you're not sure at times, shoot, because you might be undervaluing yourself. So sometimes it's the feedback that you get from shooting that you would know. Because I remember doing after leaving camp and I was shooting, then I was getting some feedbacks about my UI. Some people gave me take home assignments and I performed woefully. So I was improving based on the feedback they gave. Can you talk on freelancing? What do you want to know about freelancing, please? If you are more specific, I can just answer that straight up. Some of us can't really relocate for internship or job role. Can you recommend remote internships though? HNG is one that I know, and I hear that they would be coming up soon. I had that for Zuri also, they'll be having projects for you, and the projects would be qualifying people. I don't know if they have said this before. So qualifying people for like another stage or something like that. I'm not really so sure about the information. Then for remote internships, I'm not really sure about companies offering. You might have to do that research yourself. And then wherever you are also, you might just look. The startups are trying to save money and not everybody's coming to Lagos now. We have people building in Ibadan, people building in Abuja. So you can look around there. I remember when I was in HNG, we had startups in Enugu. So we had people working in Enugu. So you can look around you there. There might be some startups that might need your service. And then from there, you can now save money and then you relocate if you want to. So can I share my recent portfolio? I've mentioned that it's currently being worked on, so I don't have something to share about. Dealing with impersonation syndrome. Impersonation, is that yeah, okay, imposter syndrome. It happens to every one of us. To the best of us, it happens also. Um, you have to just take out that voice in your head. I have had it at different stage in my career. You just have to take out that voice in your head. I don't know how you do it. The way we do it differs. And I think for me, one way I do it is taking up new projects that I find amazing. Then I share online. I feed on the energy that I get. And then I know, yeah, I got this thing. Like, I think I worked on some projects recently. Okay, so like one recently, I was having a little bit imposter syndrome, I think earlier this month or last month, and I was about to fall asleep on a random day, and I saw an hackathon. I joined the hackathon, and I came third. In fact, the reason why I came third was a little bit complicated, but they were making real emphasis on my design, so that alone like boosted myself. And the hackathon was for landing pages. I know I'm not really good at landing pages, so I didn't believe I had it, but me getting that feedback, so that is me sharing my work, exposing myself out there, help build. So you have to find a way to take the imposter syndrome out. Tell yourself that you're not a failure. Like, you really know this thing. Do the work that will make you yourself proud, that will make people praise you. And then when it comes again, you beat the challenge. But trust me, it happens to every one of us. What do you do if you can't network but you are good on your craft in regards of getting a job? Uh so you just have to be shooting shots at interview. Hopefully you get one. Because the thing with networking is that sometimes you don't have to do an interview. Someone just recommends you and you just get the job straight up. But when you don't have an insider now or somebody recommending you, you have to go through all the due process. So it's not as if it's totally bad, but man, it is depriving you of some benefits. So please, like, if you can learn to. Do you think a medicine student can juggle between medicine and product design? Yes. So the hackathon that I mentioned, the first winner is a student studying medicine. He won. A kid in India, he won over me. So is there a better, I guess you wanted to write, is there a better way to niche down as a beginner or be good at many things? Add to many different opinions on this. I might not be the best person to answer this because I am a supporter for generalists. And the reason why I support being generalist is that try a number of things first, and then you find your strengths or what you find interesting the most, and then from there you can now narrow down. So but then if everything now start working for you, you can be building on everything. But the truth is, yeah, I understand why people say that it's hard to build on everything at the same time. So like now I said I'm just learning motion design. I could have said I was juggling it with product design or graphic design a long time ago. I might not be at the position where I am right now. So maybe because I took some time to focus on product design, my product design is good now. I can't reduce the way I am practicing product design a bit and learn other things. So it is tricky. Probably I'll say start a little bit, generalize a bit for a couple of months to see what you find most interesting or most easy to do, that comes to you easy. And once you get that, then you can now start building other areas. How do I create a portfolio? A portfolio basically is a collection of projects that you have. So if it's product design, so like say you designed an app end to end, so you add them to your portfolio. So say, okay, I designed this a food app, I designed this a fashion app, and it might not be a real project. Then maybe the last one, I designed a dashboard, a web app for a fintech, something like that. So those are things that make up a portfolio. Portfolio is just basically pieces of projects brought together. inspiring journey. Am I on ADP list? No, but I'm looking forward to joining soon. As soon as I figure out this mentoring thing, because as I said, I just started the mentoring thing on Twitter last month, so I'm yet to figure out how to really do it. So I'm learning, as I've said. So once I figure it out, I can now take it on a bigger scale. Can you recommend internship? Um, uh, the I've really not been in the internship space, really like looking for things for beginners. Maybe it's one of the things I'll add to my to-dos to help beginners, like companies that are hiring beginners. So I really don't know, apart from HNG, I don't know any. So you can check HNG on Twitter. HNG is like one of the best internships you can ever do in Nigeria, in the entire world. Like a lot of awesome people came out from HNG. Some are still in the country, some outside the country. Everybody doing mad stuff. I'm currently learning front end web development on Scrumbar and product design year 2 and 0. What would you advise me to do? Dump one or keep learning both? If you can handle both, keep learning both. But if you think you can't, be honest with yourself. Dump the one you think is stressing you, or the one you want to focus more. And when I say stressing you, it might not just be the fact that it's coming easy. If you think, oh, I want to do this thing because of money, my bro, chase it. As long as you're going to be excellent about it, there's no sin. You didn't kill anybody. You are trying to make a living. Um, I've always been wondering if, as a UX designer, I can apply for graphic design jobs. I define work. If you don't have a graphic design jobs, it will be difficult. If you don't have graphic design designs that you have done before that you present in your interview, it will be difficult. And apart from even presenting, in the case that they don't ask, by the time you resume and they're giving you tasks to do, it should be hard for you to do. So you might have to learn graphic design on your separately if you want to start applying for graphic design jobs. I'm a practicing lawyer. I am switching to UIUX. Well, more like combining both, because I won't stop being a lawyer. Hope you get my drift. Yeah, I do. Basically, you can do anything you put your mind to. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. I believe anything that I find interesting or that I am pissed about. At the beginning, our icebreaker, I asked that if money was not a problem, I said to master any skill. And that's because sometimes I find people doing things that I believe they can do better. I believe if I spend a couple of weeks or months doing that thing, I would do more than what I am being annoyed about. Like at least entry level stuff, I'll be able to do it. And funny enough, doing NYSC, this theory of mine was kind of proven because we got to camp. People that never picked drums, within 20 something days in camp, they started drumming in the NYC brigade. So that was because we were practicing every day. So as long as you put your mind to anything, you practice, you work on it, you can do. Please share prototype, boss. Yes, I'll share the XD file. So anybody that wants to just dig inside to see how I did my layers and everything, the prototypes that I use, you can just figure out and use it. As a UI UX designer, working in groups is nice, but amongst the group, won't it be better if we have majors in the group, like one person handles prototyping, another handles anima and animations? It depends. And then you also have to look, you yourself, what do you want to do? If you want to be doing animations alone, you look for a team that is looking for just an animator. Some companies would require you to do everything. So where I currently work, I handle a lot of things because product designer is just sometimes more than UI UX. Sometimes they're a little bit of a product manager. Sometimes graphic designer, because they are designing icons, designing banners inside the app. So I do like a little bit of everything. And then we have a graphic designer also. So it might depend on you. And then the company also. If the company wants people that can do more than one thing, that's what they'll be looking for. And some companies just want only you to do only one thing. I know some companies that handle just UX researchers alone. So you're just coming as a researcher, you're not doing any design. Is there any particular difference between you and graphics? Not really, not so much. There's a little bit difference, but not so much, if I've been honest. It's just that there's really not much difference if I've been honest. In fact, like graphics helped me to switch to UI easily. As I said earlier, I did just 1 day crash course for UIUX in like in an hour, and then weeks later I joined HNG. So and I was just roughing it. Well, the only thing now with you, so UIUX now has the experience part of it. A graphic designer might not be able to bring the experience, but you might be able to bring the visuals, because UI and graphics are both visuals. Then UX is like the experience. So that might like be a major difference. Thanks. I'm just wondering, because this reason I have much time now is because of ASU is on strike. I don't know if I have time for UI UX when school resumes. Yeah, bro. Sorry, man. Use all the time that you have now to own your skills. You might have time. Funny enough, you might have time when you resume, because um I said my course was for 5 years. I don't know if I mentioned that. My course was supposed to be for 5 years, but I spent 7 years in school. So take advantage of the strike and improve on your skills. Okay, can non-graduates pick UI UX as a career? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay. Since you can choose any frame size on Figma, I simply think you can also use it for graphics. Yeah. Please, Figma and XD, are they the same, or are, are they different when you design? They are the same. The only thing is some have like XD, to my knowledge at the moment, XD has a better prototyping feature, but I think Figma has like is built more for product design. Like they are really researching how to make the lives of developers better. So there's not much difference. It doesn't really matter. The only thing might be what the company you're working for, the preference, like what they use. Where did I stop? I have not used SD before. That's why I asked him. It's fine. You can, if that is what you want. You can also try balancing both. Okay. Is UI the same as product design? Yeah, it's almost the same. Product design, sometimes depending on the company, just adds a little extra. What would you advise to focus on, UI or UX design or product design? So I think I'll advise that you should focus on product design, or for beginners, focus on UI, because when we are recruiting, a lot of times it is, I've mentioned it earlier, that it is visuals that we're looking for. If you have strong visuals, you come in and then we can build on the UX later. You learn on the job. So, but a lot of companies, it's hard for it to find a lot of companies just specializing to, oh, just UX design. We aren't just a UI designer, so you might have to learn everything as much as you can. But if you have strong UI, trust me, your chances of you getting called for interviews are higher. It's not product design is not just nicer to the ear. It just has little difference, but you can almost say they are the same. I'm asking as per, you can't say okay. How much do I earn per month? Are you asking me, or Kodobe? Okay. Oh, at Kodobe, how much do I earn per month? Kodobe is a Nigerian company. I would not say how much exactly. I'll just say I earn 6 figures per month in Naira at Kodobe. Can I share my CV template? Is it the one I presented? If it's the one I presented, yeah, I would definitely share that. What's the difference between UI, UX, and graphics? I've answered that. Yeah, UI also and UX. You can check online for further differences. As a UI UX designer working in groups, what is Was it a design course hackathon? Yes, it was a design course hackathon. So Tochiko, I guess you saw that hackathon. My design I was the person that came third. What or where are you learning motion design? I'm currently learning motion design on YouTube and Skillshare. So I have a Skillshare subscription. I am learning both on YouTube and Skillshare. Yeah, and then I'm reading Medium post also. Yeah, I'm reading Medium posts. It's funny enough that you find some tutorials of very informative things on Medium. Don't sleep on Medium. Please, your Twitter handle isn't very visible. Can you say it again? ITZ. Okay, my Twitter and IG handle is ITZ_JF. ITZ_JF. So I just dropped the handle in the chat. That is my Twitter and IG handle. How can I apply for internships? You find any company offering internships and you apply. And sometimes companies are not, they don't announce it, but if you're able to sell yourself, you get chance. I remember my last company when I was working, there was a student in Covenant University and he just kept shooting his shots. And one day the CEO just said they should interview him. And that's how he became an intern that mentored under me. So sometimes you just shoot, you just send code emails. That's what they call it, code emails. And sometimes you see applications and you apply for them. How much do I earn currently? I already said that. I do 6 digits in Naira every month. It's not that big. Yeah, some of my friends earn 7 digits in Naira. How can we access the CV templates? I would share it with your coordinator. CV templates. Sadly, the CV is Illustrator, so you might not be able to edit it, except you have an Illustrator. I don't have the Illustrator file actually, but I have the PDF file. So if you have, I think Figma can edit PDFs. I'm not sure about if XD can do that also. I think one of them, though, and some other applications online can do that. So if you need to edit it, you can use those applications. But the template, I don't have it anymore. I think it's crashed with one of my old laptops. Can I intern where you work currently? I don't know if they are ready to, if we have openings. I can confirm. So you have my what's your name, Louis? You can just reach out to me to follow up. I'll ask once we resume back from the holiday, if they are willing to take interns, and if the management says yes, I would let you know. Thank you so much. What is the actual work of a UI or UX designer? A UX designer, so it depends on companies. Sometimes companies interchange them, but originally a UX designer just supposed to design their experience. You're not supposed to beautify anything. You just design the experience, the user flow, the user journey. When they click this is where you should take them. And sometimes even every touch point, then the UI designer picks it from there and then makes the mad beautiful thing. So the UX design is more like the wireframer sometimes. So, but these days it's just used interchangeably a lot. Like companies are not keeping to it. Some people are just following trends. Like they just see JD on Google, copy and paste, and just send out because everybody's hiring UI UX. They need to hire. Yeah, you did the hackathon too. Oh, that's funny. I was about to sleep the day I stumbled on the hackathon, and funny enough, I came to my handle is ITZ_JF. How long can I advise a beginner to put into practicing and reading daily? So it depends on your schedule. I personally, with work and everything, I try to do at least 2 hours every day. So sometimes I might be doing work or after work or before work starts. So, but it depends on you, how hungry you are. You assess yourself, where am I, where do I want to be in? Like you give yourself a period. Yeah, let's start from that. Give yourself a time frame that in 6 months' time, I want to be able to do this. And then now assess the level of work that you need to put in. And with that, you should be able to break down the time that you'd have to put in every day. But at the end of the day, also be realistic with yourself. So it's not every day also that I practice, that days that I take a break or that I'm lazy. Um so like my Figma course now, there was a previous day when I was about to sleep, I'd watch it to video 16, and I told myself that the next day I must watch to video 32. So as around like 6, 8 p.m., I'd gotten to like video 28 and I was tired. But I made sure I didn't go to sleep that night until I got to video 32. So sometimes you have to be realistic with yourself and set goals that you can attain. And sometimes you won't be able to meet it. Don't beat up yourself. Just make sure that you keep on pushing. Any day you miss, cover up for it and just keep on pushing. You're based in Sapele, Delta. How can I apply for internship here or get jobs since no opportunities here, unlike in Lagos and industrialized places? So one thing you can try and start doing is, if you're based in Delta and there's no company there, start looking to freelance. There are a lot of freelancing sites that you can offer your services. As far back as I was in school, I was in Ogumosho, that's where Lautech is. I was doing design for people in Lagos and Abuja, people outside the country safe that I never met. Some of them I've never met up to today. You get, so just putting out yourself there will make people reach out to you when they need just like a contract freelancer to do stuff for them. Can I intern at Kodobe? It's not Kodobe, guys. It is Kodobe. Kodobe. We just pronounce like Kodobe, like Adobe, but it's Kodobe. Is all the tech companies that are in need of product designers? Yeah, so I think I've gotten through every question. As I promised, I went through everyone. I don't know if there's any question left or that I missed. Maybe we can take like extra 5 minutes. This is 2:08, so maybe like 2:13 we end it if there's no more questions. Or if you can't think of a question right now, you can just shoot me a DM on Twitter or anywhere. I promise within 24 to 48 hours I'll reply. I don't ignore DMs unless I don't see them. So but most likely within 24 to 48 hours I'll visit any social media platform and I'll reply as soon as I see it. So if you can't think of your question right now, or you need feedback on projects, so for feedback on projects, I'm a little bit strict on that for now. I'm restricting it to the mentorship thing on Twitter. I would announce dates when we'll be having this month session, which will probably be like a week or two, where I give different time slots and then you go and you can pick the time slots you want. It is totally free. Data consumption. I honestly can't relate to that, but I don't know what is cheap. These days I'm also shouting myself. I'm looking at doing fiber, but initial setup for fiber is expensive, but the monthly payment for fiber is actually cheap. So yeah, you can reach out to me for any questions that you have, anything, even for the feedback thing. I would always find time to give you feedback and I'll be glad to be of help. Every one of you on this call and those that I've dropped, I'm rooting for you. I want to see you as my colleagues in the industry in months to come, in years to come. I'm rooting for every one of you. So if you need help in the industry, not transfer, I want to transfer. If you need help in the industry, please always reach out to me. I'll put you through as much as I can. If I get job opportunities that I can recommend anybody for, I would also do it. Yeah. Are there product design agencies where they work on different projects for companies? Yes, there are. I know people that have worked on, especially in Lagos, there are product design companies. One is Check DC, so you can check up the name Check DC. Check DC. I just dropped their name in the chat now. Check DC is a product design company, agency. Though they don't do only product design, but they do product design. I know, I'm sure about that. That's one that's coming to my name right now. But I know there are other people also. Where can I do freelancing as UIUX designer? You would have to search Google for more, but we have Fiverr, we have Upwork, LinkedIn, Contra, Legit, Twitter, Instagram, Behance has a job session, Dribble has a job session, And sometimes you putting it out to yourself makes people to reach out to you. So there's a lot of just research yourself. You see 99 designs. There are a lot. Just search freelance websites for designers in 2022, and you'll find like a whole lot of blogs about them. And then even the platforms that I don't think about, you find you can just be posting your work on TikTok, it goes viral, and somebody reaches out to you that please can you design something for me. So that's why I recommend you putting out yourself. Please, what can one do about prototype if it is showing a half screen? Shion Afolabi, maybe you'd have to send me a DM to look into this, so that I can understand better. I really don't understand what you're saying because I can't see it. Sorry about that. But if you can send a DM, maybe with your XD link or Figma link, whatever it is, we can look into it together. I have questions above, please. Oh, yeah, I think I've answered your questions now. Thank you. There's MTN 1 terabyte for 100K. It might be enough for 4 to 5 months. Yeah. Yeah, Fort Canvas. Thank you. There's also these guys, Ogbeni Shays, that design studio. So there's that design studio. My friend has one, Papen. There are quite a number of them. Just in fact, if you Google them, you'll be surprised. Web development agencies in Nigeria, product design agencies in Nigeria, you'd see them. Where can I do freelancing as a UIUX designer? I've answered that. Yeah. So thank you guys. It was really talking and chatting with you. I know a couple of names now. If anybody sees me outside, feel free to say I just say from Zuru, and I'd be glad to connect with you on social media and wherever it is. Ilorin, guys, I look forward to meeting you at the end of this month. I'll be in Ilorin at the end of this month. I look forward to meeting you. I trust to be able to squeeze in some couple of hours, even though I'm coming to learn for some things. Yeah. Your questions also are thought provoking. I've learned from quite a number of them. Yeah, I'm glad to do this with every one of you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for staying to the end of the call, even with public holiday in Nigeria and all of that. The pleasure is mine. Do have a wonderful, enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, and as I've said, I'm rooting for every one of you. Tommy, Deborah, Kunle, Kenechuku, Abodat Living, Ibrahim. I'm rooting for every one of you. I want you guys to be my colleagues in the industry in the next couple of months. Please up your game, practice, read, work hard, do everything you have to do. And I want to see you at the top. You all have a great evening. Bye.